Hi, I'm Irving. You have just entered Cartertopia.
And the wonders that you do.
Something's changed. I didn't have to fast forward through the 2-minute theme song. That big yellow beam is making the camera shake.
8.4 on the Richter scale, Professor Chapman.
Oh, yes, I can see it. Do you think I could create a volcano and not realize its power?
It looks like this, then you shoot a big yellow beam at it for 10 seconds and it looks like this? And besides, you can't just point a light at some random spot on Earth and create a volcano. To make a volcano you need, I guess the main thing you need is a mad scientist. Why is he doing this?
8.4. And this is merely a demonstration. This should give the China watchers something to talk about.
At least now we know this is somewhere in China. How'd he get a camera there and why isn't it melting?
And what they don't realize is that the real news is yet to come.
I would hope so, or it's going to be a short episode. This is new in every sense of the word except the melody. No more hokey lyrics, a more synth-driven sound, and best of all, shorter. This is half as long as the old one, and I'm not complaining. And that's not the only change.
Hey, congratulations. I hear that Atkinson got bumped upstairs and you've been promoted. All my assignments come from you from now on?
That's right. Sorry we don't have time for champagne, but that's why I'm here, to give you your assignment.
Oh, come on, Steve. I just got back from the Philippines.
Joe is still in the credits, but his role is minimal. And from now on, Steve is going to be spending a lot of time at a desk, which means Diana will be doing these missions on her own most of the time. It's a good thing for her that Wonder Woman always seems to know where she is and when she needs help. I haven't found any solid information about why the change happened mid-season, but I suppose this far removed from the time is not that important. It's just that, well, you may have noticed that why is my favorite question in the whole world. If you have any information, and especially sources I can look at about this, please share. My curiosity is driving me normal.
See the headlines?
Chinese volcano?
Yeah. The Office of Scientific Research says it shouldn't happen.
Ostensibly, to make a volcano, you have to have a hot magma pocket right near the surface. But today it seems all we need is Roddy McDowell.
Any more questions?
Any more answers?
In exactly 37 minutes, get yourself some flight insurance at the gift shop. And look, this is no piece of cake. Dave Pruitt, the last agent we sent in there,
Yeah?
he hasn't been seen or heard from since he checked into room 7 at the Vista Bonita Hotel.
Thanks.
Sent in where? He didn't say where she's going or how anybody knows that's where she needs to be. We see that a couple of apparently Chinese people are watching her, then cut to someplace in Chinatown.
4 million of these blocks were used in the construction of the new Great Hall of the People's Republic of China in Peking.
It's heavy for all its beauty.
The finest wood in Asia, reinforced with coats of special lacquer. It has the strength of concrete.
Which means somebody is going to show off by breaking it.
May I present your colleague, Comrade Ling?
Comrade Ling? With all due respect to your judgment, Colonel Min, I think that an expedition into the rugged sections of Baja, California for one so frail would...
Dude, that is so obviously a woman. If you can't see it, then maybe you shouldn't be on this assignment. If you're going to use a pre-cut prop, put the cut there after the close-up so it's not quite so obvious.
Forgive me, Colonel.
Told you. She cheated since it was a breakaway block, but the other guy doesn't need to know that. And now we have a fair idea that Diana is also going to Baja, California. I'd still like to know how they tracked the problem there, but nobody's going to tell us, so just go with it.
Your report, Mei Ling.
Stephen Trevor of the IADC met with one of his agents at the Coast Terminal Airport. It is certain that the Americans are behind the volcano business. I made sure that she is being closely watched.
How does Steve Trevor meeting with Diana Prince at an airport prove the Americans are behind it? Say hello to some of the international logic of the time. Can't explain it? Blame whichever country you're most mad at. It has to be their doing. Diana buys the flight insurance and discovers there's a map in her paperwork. Now she has an idea where she's going. Nice of Steve to let her know. Eventually, the PA announces her flight.
Flight 121 from Sacramento is now arriving at Gate 10.
The whole bunch of them end up in Mexico City. Mexico City is a long way from Baja, especially by car. Wouldn't it make more sense to fly to Ensenada? But landing in Mexico City has one advantage for Diana. It gives her lots of time to play in her dune buggy. We have no idea where in Baja they're going, and since Baja California is shaped like a spaghetti noodle, they could be anywhere between Mexicali and La Paz. At least we didn't make up a country and call it El Spaghettio or something this time. She pulls into the Vista Bonita Hotel.
Buenas tardes, señor.
Oh, hello. You have a reservation?
Do I need one?
It's the height of the season. You staying long?
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to stay at all. It doesn't seem like the fish are exactly jumping around here.
Is there any water within 20 miles? Her cover in this bleak desert is fishing?
Got a case of tuna in the back room.
Well, in that case, this must be the place.
Sure do. Take your pick.
7.
7?
It's my lucky number.
Good thing she's not being obvious about it. By his expression, the batting eyelashes aren't doing the trick. She checks into the room, locks the door, and starts searching. While she's doing that, a hotel guy opens a secret panel under the stairs.
You have a visitor, Diana Prince.
That's what I was calling to tell you.
The IADC is getting bolder. They didn't even bother to change her name.
She's an agent?
Of course. Where did you put her?
Room 7, same as Pruitt.
That explains why Pruitt disappeared. This guy disappeared him.
Get rid of her. Did you hear me?
I heard you, only...
Only what?
She's a real good-looking lady.
And everybody knows you don't mess with good-looking people.
Looks as though she's going to spend the night.
Perhaps we should check in as well.
You need comfort to do your duties.
I merely thought that a closer look would...
You were thinking of a roof over your head. We will sleep in this vehicle. I will take the first watch. I will wake you in 4 hours.
I'm with him. Making yourself uncomfortable isn't necessary, and sleep is a weapon. She's a little too hard-nosed for her own good. Diana is still searching the room for some kind of clue that Pruitt might have hidden. It's a note from Angela Lansbury. She accidentally said the incantation backwards and the empty armor joined the Nazis. Hello, front desk. Your elevator's busted. This has been tried before. It didn't work then either. Why did we cut away to her backpack? I don't know, but it's the third time we did it. At Mad Scientist Central, we're creating another volcano.
Russia, sir. North of Moscow.
Number 2 of the 3 great powers gets into the act.
I wonder who'll be next. Just like China, Russia assumes the U.S. is behind it. Joe has been studying some satellite analysis of the whole thing.
At precisely the time that the volcano exploded, a bright light, some kind of bizarre phenomenon, lit up the sky just above the Vista Bonita Hotel.
That was the wall-moving mechanism exploding when Wonder Woman broke it.
The beam and the explosion lasted 47 seconds.
The Russians respond yet?
Immediately, they're sending the twins.
All they have in common is size and strength.
And tenacity.
Where are they now?
It's anybody's guess. 2 hours ago, they were in Mexico City.
We find ourselves with agents from 3 different powers all converging on the same place, all suspicious of each other. This could get complicated, to say the least.
They pamper themselves.
Why didn't you wake me?
I tried, and you were afraid that the rugged terrain will be tiring me.
I didn't realize we were in a contest with one another.
I get the feeling life is a contest for her.
The Prince girl.
Leaving now.
I like how even after that attempt on her life, she doesn't bother to look around to see if she's being watched or followed or something.
They cannot drive far.
You do realize that Baja connects to the mainland so they can all drive as far as they want, yes? Even so, Diana only drives as far as the spot marked on Pruitt's map. She decides to get up there the easy way. Maybe later. Fooled you, didn't I? Mei Ling takes charge.
You're my prisoner.
You're sadly mistaken, miss. You are mine.
We'll see about that.
Diana's been practicing. I love the way he's just standing back, watching all this, almost bored, waiting for them both to get it out of their systems.
Congratulations. To both of you. You are a credit to the IADC.
I have lost face.
Nonsense. Fought extremely well. And lost, only to a first-class opponent. Tie your wrists.
Yes, comrade.
They take her and start up the mountain toward that whatever it is. They don't realize that if they'd leave her alone for 5 minutes, she could go up there and smash it right now. While Mei Ling ties Diana up and Lin Wan questions her, the Russian agents are making their own way up the mountain. While everybody is thus occupied, Mad Scientist fires up his machine again.
Maryland. My Maryland.
He's being careful only to make them in uninhabited areas so nobody gets hurt. The third guy in there is Agent Pruitt, the missing IADC guy. Scientists brought him in to watch a volcano form on American soil.
Where did you strike now?
Hankou? Peking?
You think you can bring the dragon down to his knees? I told you, we have nothing to do with this.
Hold on. Now, hold on. Mei Ling, you must have estimated the compass setting of the beam before we came.
The original beam followed the setting of 317 degrees.
He says, check this one. That'll tell us if they struck China again.
078 degrees.
I have no idea what they hit. But I do not think it was China.
Is it time to listen to each other yet?
Thank you. We're not a cruel people. We're an embattled people.
You've been conquered many times, but you always manage to conquer your conquerors.
I don't know if you're telling the truth, but I do believe that you're doing your duty much as we are.
Thank you, Mei Ling.
It's a start.
We have to leave you over here.
Depending on what happens in the next few hours, we may or may not come back this way. Try to stay in the shade. Good luck.
Good luck to you.
That rock has a convenient sharp edge so she can cut the ropes. I suspect Mei Ling planned it that way, but she didn't plan for what Diana does next. The Russians are right behind her, so she takes cover until they go by. I'm not sure why.
Comrade!
Hold it, little one. The girl is between us.
Be sensible, comrade.
Maybe that's why, so she can have them all in one place. She intervenes.
I have imagined we would eventually encounter the American phenomenon, Wonder Woman.
It does seem inevitable.
You have a saying in your country. All good things must come to an end. Regretfully.
But not today. They know about Wonder Woman, but they don't know she can do that? The weirdest part about this is that at the time, China and the Soviet Union were supposed to be allies. Sort of. You can see how well it's going, and this is a pretty good example of their so-called alliance.
If you will listen to me, I have a few simple suggestions that...
Hold this, my comrade.
You cannot be serious. Well, let's get the testosterone rush over with.
I have seen him do better in the grip of a Siberian brown bear.
Now that estrogen superiority has been established, let's talk about this.
Fears you Americans have won. Not only do you have your own strength, but you have the strength of that terrible weapon, whatever it is, on the mountaintop.
No, that's what I was trying to tell you before you charged at me. The United States has nothing to do with this weapon.
First China, then Russia. Who's to say where this last beam struck? If there is a pattern, then it was probably the United States. Listen, if we can just work together, maybe we can destroy this weapon before it destroys us.
All right, Mr. Corbin, that's your cue.
You will not destroy anyone. Drop your weapons.
Wonder Woman says, "I'll be back," and runs off. Corbin says, "Wait, the man we serve really wants to meet you." That's different. One has to wonder why. She changes back to Diana Prince and returns to the rock where Mei Ling left her, just in time for Corbin to come find her.
I can't stand this helpless feeling.
2 or 3 times in the course of the story, we cut back to IADC headquarters and see what Steve's role in the show is going to be from now on. Send Diana on a mission, then sit around and worry about her. I suppose it's better than blundering into trouble every week so Wonder Woman has to rescue him, but even when he was getting captured or knocked out or all of the above, at least he was doing something. So far, my mother could have done his job. She was a lot better at worrying than he is.
Strutting around, pointing their fingers. We know you're behind this. What have you done with our agents?
Then we'll know we really got something to worry about.
And in the meantime?
All we can do is wait. Hope that Diana finds some way to contact us.
Unless we hear from whoever's behind it.
Well, even that would be a relief. At least we'd know who we're dealing with.
Corbin brings Diana in to meet Mad Scientist.
Arthur Chapman?
At least now we have a name for him besides Mad Scientist Guy, although Mad Scientist Guy fits him better.
Well, Diana, it's been a long time, 2 years.
What happened to you?
I changed my mind. One morning, I came out of a meeting and they were all there. The Joint Chiefs of Staff, the State Department, somebody from the Bureau, the company. I took one look at them and I said, either they're mad or I'm mad. Millions have been made, no, billions have been made off my copyrights.
You mean patents. Copyrights are for written and recorded materials. Patents are for inventions. I've had one.
And all my toys have been used for war games.
Is war a game?
That is exactly my point. Now, there will be peace. And I shall dictate the term.
And who appointed you to do this? He's doing a variation on the peace through threat of destruction bit. Force peace onto the world at the point of a sword. Have a huge, hideous weapon to fight violence. He's crazy. But he's got that weapon and apparently a bottomless pit of money because he also has the equipment to do this.
Men, women, children of the world, I am talking to you. All of you, wherever you are. I have interrupted every radio and television program because there is something I must speak to you about.
Every frequency on the planet. Cable was around and there were a few cable-only channels like HBO, but a lot of the channels on cable were the usual broadcast stations from the big 3 networks. I don't know what the situation was in other countries, but I do wonder how many people stared at their TV or radio while some guy blabbered in a strange language they didn't understand.
And you must listen. I want to speak to you about peace. Now, every nation speaks about peace, but no one does enough to achieve it.
Get to the point already.
Except me. Millions of weapons are still being manufactured in the name of defense and deterrent. Now, I tell you, this must stop.
Is he ever going to get to the point?
It will stop. Almost every one of you listening will know the meaning of Armageddon. The final battle between good and evil.
It's Arthur Chapman.
The physicist who dropped out?
I had hoped.
He once said nobody would ever listen to him.
That's because he goes on and on and on and never gets to the point.
We have always joined the other two great powers in the three-way arms race.
Professor Chapman is mad.
Mad? Maybe. Or maybe he's just a civil servant who now has absolute power.
Chapman finally gets to the point. He says he's chosen an area where nobody will be harmed, then signals his crew. He makes a volcano somewhere in the Black Hills.
Using the most powerful laser beam on Earth. Powered by nuclear energy, I will turn the entire planet into a volcano.
You realize that includes the spot you're standing on and the body you're using to stand on it?
He actually thinks that the great powers of the world would give in to his 3-hour ultimatum.
He expects these countries to disarm in 3 hours? He really is crazy.
He's quite convinced of it.
And what if they refuse?
He'll use the laser beam to carry out his threat.
What, Volcano Earth?
There's no stopping him. You can't fight it. No one can.
Hey, you don't sound so convinced.
It's too late. Too late.
No. Not yet, it isn't.
Wait! Wait!
She gambled on his hesitation and won. He sends guards after her. Knowing what she's going to do next, they should hope they don't find her.
Joe, I've got a room full of Pentagon brass down there trying to decide whether to attack with conventional or nuclear weapons. Other countries are faced with the same decision.
Steve, don't they know that there are 5 hostages there?
Don't you know they don't care? They'll tell you those are acceptable losses.
The president just completed a meeting with the top officials of NASA. Calls have been made to the chairman of the Soviet Union, the premier of the People's Republic of China.
He's hit the U.S. twice now, so that should be proof enough that they're not behind it.
Strategic Air Command's been alerted and the necessary planes are already in the air.
What about Diana and the others?
I guess that's why there's room at the top. Nobody wants to be here.
Neither of you had to take the promotion, guys. Just think, Steve could be out there in the field right now, captured and in danger and waiting for Wonder Woman to rescue him. It really is what he does best. He should stick with it.
I am doing this in the name of peace.
The idea of peace is beautiful, but this is no way to accomplish it. Why don't you ask the people whose lives depend on what their leaders decide?
He says, I don't need to ask anybody. Tell her, Corbin. Of course, being Arthur Chapman, he said that in as many words as possible. I shortened it so you wouldn't fall asleep.
I can't, Arthur. I agree with her. It won't work, not your way. Oh, we have to work for peace, but not by intimidation.
Fools have said that since the beginning of time.
There will be fools who will send bombers to be strong. And there will be fools who will give in to you. And they will be seen as weaklings or even traitors. But Arthur, the only real fool is you.
He asks the 2 agents what the Russians will do.
Our answer will be planes and submarines, missiles and tanks, whatever it takes to destroy you. We have always fought that way.
These people defeated Napoleon and Hitler. I wouldn't mess with them no matter how cool your toy is.
And the People's Republic of China?
There are 800 million of us. If there are 10% left, we will still eventually dominate the world. It is called the long view.
Strike 3, you're out. Nobody will give in. They know where you are and they'll reduce you and your laser to dust. See, enforced peace isn't peace, it's tyranny.
But you believe in peace, Wonder Woman. You always have.
Yes. But it won't work your way. I'm sure the world's leaders would listen to you once there was no more threat.
He goes to deactivate the machine, but just then a memo arrives.
Telephonic communication has begun between the heads of state in Washington, Moscow, and Peking.
That was how Americans learned to say it in the 1900s. It was wrong, but we're Americans and we're in charge. So if your name is George, but we decide to call you Seamus, too bad for you.
That is oblivion.
They're consulting. It doesn't mean...
Headquarters, Strategic Air Command in Omaha, Nebraska, has been placed on the red alert.
I warned you that that could happen.
I tell you, they are throwing you all away.
Arthur, you can still do it. Make another transmission. Tell them that you're deactivating the computer.
And then they'll know they're right. Every government will be convinced that it was tough and it was strong. Now, those are your words, Jack. No, I tell you I was wrong.
What have you done?
I have done what I had to do.
Can the computer be reset?
No. It goes in 10 minutes.
Can the computer be smashed into itty-bitty pieces? They can't get to the power supply either.
How long will this beam last?
50 seconds.
After that, can it be fired again?
No. Not without a complete recharge.
She goes up the hill and jumps to the place where the weapon is. Now go over there and tear it off its mounting before it fires.
She's put herself between the beam and the outside world.
Since the laser was strong enough to heat the Earth's crust, form a pool of magma, and create a volcano, the force of the beam sent her shooting into the sky and into orbit, where she remains to this day.
20, 25, 25 seconds.
And now she smashes it. Corbin went to shake hands with her and burned 3 fingers off.
Before I have a Mandarin dinner served, which I prepared myself, what do you wish me to do with these?
You said they're wood. How well do they burn?
Sir, may I show you something that may answer 2 problems at once?
Aw, that was quick. How did she do that? She's not Wonder Woman at the moment. Mei Ling and Lin Wan both tender their resignations. They want to make a life together that doesn't involve international intrigue.
Apparently it is out of my hands. There is some truth to the belief that it is easy to lose oneself in Chinatown. May I suggest that you do so?
After dinner.
Of course.
Of course dinner comes first. We have really turned up our game. We have a global James Bond level threat with 3 major nations converging on it and no idea who is going to do what. And in the Wonder Woman world, it's believable. Well, the 3 nations thing is. The volcano maker is a stretch, and he never tells us how a big laser beam makes a volcano, or how the beam manages to bend around the globe to get from Baja, California to north of Moscow. On the other hand, he seems to have cameras all over the world, so maybe he has mirrors all over the world to aim and bend the beam with. Hey, it could happen. Roddy McDowell is that good. He got reduced to an ape and took over the world, so he can do just about anything. Unless you're Wonder Woman, or Batman, don't mess with him. I'm Irving, and you are now exiting Cartertopia.